For thousands of years, the world believed death to be silent, distant, and inevitable. But hidden beyond the veil of human understanding lies a truth far darker and far more extraordinary. Before kingdoms rose and fell, before the first prophecy was ever spoken, an ancient force awakened beneath the sands of forgotten empires, and one angel stood between life and the abyss. His name is Azrael, witness to creation, keeper of the final breath, judge of souls. But now, something older than rebellion has begun to stir. Cracks rip through the heavens, shadows whisper forbidden names, and the balance between life and death, an order untouched since the dawn of time, is unraveling. As ancient kingdoms collapse and celestial armies gather, only one question remains. What happens when the angel of death is the one being hunted? The answer begins now. If you're ready to enter a world of prophecy, darkness, and divine battles, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter of this epic saga. In the age when the earth was still young and the kingdoms of men rose and fell like waves upon a restless sea, there existed a presence older than any empire, a being who walked in silence between life and death. His name was Azrael, the angel of death and judgment, neither demon nor destroyer, neither savior nor tyrant. He was simply necessary. Legends whispered that Azrael had existed before the first breath was given to mankind. His wings were not dazzling white like the messengers of light, nor were they black like the fallen. Instead, they shimmered in shifting shades of silver and storm gray, wings forged from the boundary between existence and oblivion. His eyes glowed faintly with a dim golden fire, like embers that had burned since the dawn of creation. Azrael walked unseen across nations, his steps leaving neither footprints nor shadows. Only the dying knew he was there. Only those whose time had come felt the gentle cold upon their skin, and only the wicked, those who had chosen cruelty as their crown, felt his presence like a crushing weight in their final moments. For thousands of years, Azrael carried out his duty with quiet obedience.
They are refusing
until the night
the
the heavens trembled.
The balance is shifting.
The omen in the desert. In a remote desert kingdom, the kingdom of Ashur, kingdoms warred endlessly over water and trade routes. But in the sands beyond the reach of armies, a lone shepherd lay dying, struck down by illness beneath the pale moon. As his breath weakened, a soft wind stirred the desert. Azrael appeared beside him, robes shifting like smoke, his expression calm and sorrowful. "You have fought well, child of dust," Azrael whispered, kneeling beside the shepherd. "Your time has come, fear not." The shepherd felt the cold darkness easing. Peace washed over him as Azrael placed a hand upon his chest, but before his soul could depart, the sky tore open. A blinding fissure of red and gold split the heavens. Azrael's eyes widened, something he had not done in thousands of years. Winds howled, sand spiraled violently, and a voice, ancient, furious, forbidden, echoed from the tier. "Azrael, judge of the living and the dead, the time of balance has ended." The shepherd died instantly, not of Azrael's touch, but from the overwhelming force emanating from the rift. Azrael stood slowly, wings folding tightly. This was no natural omen. This was summoning. The council trembles. Azrael vanished from the desert in a flash of gray light. He materialized in the celestial realm, a vast expanse of luminous clouds and towering marble pillars. Angels of every order stopped and stared. Azrael rarely appeared among them. He belonged neither to the choir of light nor the order of war. He was singular, solitary. But now he strode through the gates of radiance and into the grand hall of thrones. Michael, the commander of heaven, stepped forward. His golden armor gleamed with furious light. "Azrael," Michael said, voice echoing, "why have you come unbidden?" Azrael's voice was calm but heavy. "The veil is cracking." A murmur swept the hall. Gabriel, the messenger, raised a cautious brow. "You speak of the rift that appeared above the desert?" Azrael nodded. It carried a voice, one older than mankind. The archangels exchanged troubled glances. Only one ancient force imprisoned beyond the veil could speak with such thunder, the remnants of the first rebellion. The fallen, those cast into the abyss long before Lucifer's pride ignited heaven into war. Michael stepped closer, wings flaring. "Azrael, tell us everything." Azrael's expression darkened. "The rift spoke my name. It declared the balance between life and death has ended." Gasps echoed. Raphael, the healer, stepped forward urgently. "If the balance is broken, mortal kingdoms will fall one after another. Plagues, famine, endless war. And the dead will outnumber the living," Gabriel whispered. Azrael nodded gravely. Already, souls resist crossing. The shepherd of Ashur lingered between breaths until the heavens split. Michael clenched his jaw. "Then the ancient prison is weakening." "No," Azrael said softly. "It is opening." Silence fell. The last kingdom of men. Meanwhile, in the mortal realm, the kingdom of Ashur began to crumble. The sky above the desert remained bruised with unnatural color. Storms formed where no storms should exist. Travelers vanished into swirling clouds of dust. Animals fled the region. And in the capital city of Ashur, King Malachi, ruthless tyrant and conqueror, sat upon his throne, unmoved by omens. He believed himself immortal, until the angel of death walked into his palace. The tyrant meets the silent one. In the dead of night, torches flickered in the grand hall as a cold wind swept through the palace. Guards froze mid-step, their hearts trembled. Azrael appeared at the foot of the throne, silver-gray wings half-folded, his presence heavy as the weight of judgment itself. King Malachi rose, eyes widening with terror.
Not alone.
"Who are you?" Azrael's voice was quiet, but devastating. "I am the shadow on your final day." Malachi drew his sword, hand trembling. "Stay back! I am chosen by the gods!" Azrael tilted his head. "All kings believe this. None are correct." In a single motion, Malachi swung his blade. It passed through Azrael like smoke. The king fell to his knees. "Please, please, I can change." "Your time is done," Azrael whispered. "But your death is not your own. A greater darkness follows." Azrael touched him gently. Malachi's body collapsed, lifeless. But then, his soul did not rise. It was dragged downward into the crack beneath the throne by unseen claws. Azrael stepped back sharply, eyes narrowing. The abyss has awakened. The impossible choice. Returning to the celestial realm, Azrael faced the council again. Michael's expression turned grim. "The abyss has taken a soul without your command?" Azrael nodded. "The fallen remnants are breaking free. They seek to unbind death and unleash eternal suffering upon mankind." "And what of you?" Gabriel asked carefully. "What role do you play in this prophecy?" Azrael's wings folded tightly as he spoke the forbidden truth. "If the abyss rises fully, only two beings can seal it." "Who?" Raphael asked. Azrael met their eyes. "One is imprisoned." "And the other?" Michael said. Azrael took a breath. "Me." The hall erupted in shock. Michael's wings flared. "If you seal the abyss alone, you will be destroyed." Azrael lowered his gaze. "I know." Silence fell, heavy as iron. For the first time since the dawn of creation, Azrael felt fear, and yet he also felt destiny calling. The storm had begun, and Azrael, the most silent of angels, was now the only one who could face the ancient darkness rising again. The whisper of the abyss spread like an unseen plague. Across the mortal world, strange winds carved spirals into the desert sands. Rivers darkened. The moon turned a sickly shade of red. Nightmares filled the sleep of kings, merchants, and beggars alike. Some awoke screaming. Others never awoke at all. And deep beneath the ruins of ancient kingdoms, the remnants, the earliest fallen beings, older than even Lucifer's rebellion, stirred from their prison. They were not angels anymore, nor were they demons. They were something forgotten and meant to remain forgotten. But now, cracks in the veil allowed them to whisper into mortal hearts again. A kingdom on the edge of ruin. In Ashur, the capital city Ashur struggled to remain standing. Dark clouds swirled endlessly above the palace. The once busy markets fell quiet. Citizens hid indoors, murmuring prayers to gods who no longer answered. Inside the throne room, King Malachi's death left a power vacuum. General Rahim, a stern man with cold eyes, assumed leadership and summoned priests, warriors, and scholars. But nothing could calm the spreading fear. Rumors flew like arrows. Ghosts walk the night. The dead speak. The sky bleeds. Rahim clenched his jaw and stared toward the mountains where the rift had first appeared. All of this began after the omen, he muttered. Behind him, priests argued whether the gods were angry or abandoning them. Yet none of them knew the truth. The darkness was not coming. It had already arrived. Azrael returns to the mortal realm. Azrael descended once more to the desert, materializing in a flash of gray and silver light. His wings folded behind him like mist, fading as his boots touched the sand. The air felt wrong, thick, vibrating with something ancient and hostile. He knelt, touching the cracked earth. Dark energy pulsed beneath the surface like a heartbeat. "They are close," Azrael whispered. A sandstorm began forming on the horizon, but it wasn't natural. The wind moved against itself, spiraling unnaturally, as if drawn to a single point. Azrael rose, eyes narrowing. Then he felt it, the faint presence of a soul trapped between life and death. "Show yourself," he commanded. The first remnant emerges. The sandstorm exploded outward, revealing a tall figure composed of fragments, smoke, bone, and ancient broken armor. Its face was hidden behind a cracked helm. Where eyes should have been, there was only endless darkness. A remnant. It whispered Azrael's name in a dozen overlapping voices. Azrael. Azrael drew his wings slightly open. "You were sealed before the world knew war. What brings you into the realm of mortals?" The remnant tilted its head. Its voice echoed. "We were promised freedom, once death itself was unbalanced." Azrael's eyes hardened. "Then your master deceived you." "We have no master," the remnant shrieked, cracks spreading across its body. "We are the end promised by the first sin." The creature lunged. The clash in the desert. Azrael raised his hand. A wave of silver-gray force blasted the remnant backward, sending sand flying like a tidal wave. The creature screeched and dissolved into swirling black mist, reforming behind Azrael. It swung a jagged shadow blade toward his spine. Azrael vanished into dust, reappearing above it, wings spread wide. "You cannot kill death," he said calmly. The remnant roared and struck again. Azrael caught the shadow blade bare-handed. Dark energy sizzled around his fingers, burning cracks into his skin. An injury even an angel should not suffer. He frowned. "You have grown stronger." The remnant's voice pierced the air. "We feed on the fear of men, and fear is overflowing." The sand beneath Azrael's feet trembled. Other shapes began rising from the ground, twisted forms dragging themselves from cracks in the veil. More remnants, dozens. Azrael stepped back, wings tightening. "This world cannot withstand you," Azrael warned. The lead remnant's shifting voice whispered, "Then let it fall." They surged toward him, a call heaven could not ignore. High above the earth, in the celestial realms, Michael sensed the eruption of dark power. He slammed his spear into the marble floor. Azrael is in danger! Gabriel's wings unfurled. Do we intervene? Michael hesitated. Azrael walked alone by design, by purpose. To interfere could break cosmic law. But the storm boiling over the mortal realm... Raphael stepped forward, voice tense. If Azrael falls, the remnants will consume the world. Michael clenched his jaw. Prepare the legions. He turned, fire in his eyes. We go to war. Azrael's last stand. Back in the desert, Azrael was surrounded. Remnants circled him like wolves, their bodies twisting like shattered shadows. He breathed slowly, steadying himself. I cannot destroy you all, he murmured, but I can hold you. The remnants lunged. Azrael thrust both hands outward, sending a shockwave of divine force that split the sand beneath them. 2 remnants disintegrated temporarily into dark mist. Others were thrown backward, but they reformed instantly, shrieking in ancient rage. A blade of darkness pierced Azrael's shoulder. Another struck his ribs. His silver-gray wings flared but faltered. Azrael dropped to one knee. The remnants closed in, chanting, "Death must fall! Death must fall!" Azrael's golden eyes dimmed. He whispered a single word. Enough! A blinding sphere of gray-white radiance exploded outward. The remnants recoiled, screaming in agony as their forms cracked and shattered. But the explosion drained Azrael completely. He collapsed to the sand. The angel of death falls. As the dust settled, the remnants slowly began reforming. The lead remnant hovered over Azrael's body, its voice a low rasp. Without you, the dead will rise uncontrolled. Without you, judgment will cease. Without you, chaos will reign. Azrael lifted his head weakly. I will rise again, as long as life has meaning. No, the remnant whispered. Not if we take you. Its claws extended. Azrael closed his eyes, and then a golden spear struck the ground beside him, exploding into flames. The remnants shrieked. Michael descended from the heavens like a meteor, wings burning with holy fire. Behind him, Gabriel, Raphael, and thousands of angels of the heavenly host tore through the storm clouds. Azrael looked up weakly. Michael, you should not have come. Michael placed a hand on his shoulder. You are not facing this alone, brother. He stood tall, spear blazing. Angels of heaven, defend the realm. The sky erupted in light. The remnants charged, and for the first time since the dawn of creation, the angel of death fought alongside the armies of heaven. The desert roared with war. Blinding beams of celestial fire tore through the storm-black sky as the armies of heaven descended. Their wings formed a blazing dome of light, clashing against the spiraling vortex of darkness rising from the sand. Michael led the charge, his golden spear ignited with holy flame. Gabriel flew beside him, bow drawn, arrows shimmering like stars. Raphael moved behind them, a radiant shield of healing aura forming a barrier around the wounded. And at the center of it all lay Azrael, the angel of death, wounded and barely conscious. Beneath him, the earth trembled. The abyss was opening. The battle of sand and heaven. The remnants surged upward in the hundreds, twisted shapes of bone, obsidian armor, and shadowy smoke. Their screams shredded the air as they hurled themselves at the newly arrived angels. Michael's spear cut through the first wave, sending shockwaves of gold across the battlefield. Gabriel's arrows pierced the swirling darkness, each shot exploding in a burst of white light. Raphael shielded the falling angels, pulling the wounded away with sweeping arcs of emerald healing. Despite the celestial fury, the remnants kept multiplying. The cracks beneath the sand widened, leaking tendrils of pitch-black mist. Gabriel shouted over the roaring wind, "Michael, they're feeding on the rift. The more we fight, the stronger they grow." Michael gritted his teeth. "We hold them off until Azrael rises." Gabriel glanced at Azrael's still weakened body. And if he doesn't? Michael didn't answer. Azrael awakens. Azrael felt weightless. He drifted in darkness. Not the cold void of death he ushered others through, but something deeper, something hostile. He looked down and saw his own body lying in the sand, surrounded by chaos. Angels fought desperately, wings torn, halos cracked. The remnants were dragging several into the air, twisting their forms with claws of shadow. Azrael tried to speak, but his voice was swallowed by the void. A whisper rose around him. "You cannot stop us, angel of death." Azrael turned. A massive remnant, larger than the others, towering and crowned with fractured horns, approached him. Its body was formed from the souls of ancient tyrants, fused into a living nightmare. The Harbinger, leader of the remnants. "You were created to judge the dead," it hissed, "but we will unmake your purpose. We will unmake death itself." Azrael's eyes flared. "I do not serve you." "You serve the balance," the Harbinger growled. "And balance is ending." The void trembled. Azrael's wings pulsed. He could feel the mortal realm calling him back. With a burst of will, he thrust out his hands. A wave of gray-white energy exploded from him. The void shattered, and Azrael's spirit snapped back into his wounded body. The angel of death stands. Azrael inhaled sharply. The battlefield froze for a heartbeat. His wings unfurled fully, enormous, storm gray, crackling with divine force. A shockwave blasted the sand outward, knocking the nearest remnants away like shards of broken glass. Michael turned, eyes widening with fierce relief. "Azrael!" Azrael rose slowly, his body glowing with new brilliance. His golden embers of eyes burned brighter than ever. "Stand back," he commanded softly. Michael obeyed without argument. Azrael stepped forward, his aura expanding until the entire battlefield felt it. A cold, beautiful stillness. The remnants hesitated. For the first time, they felt fear. Azrael raised his hand. "You belong in the abyss. I will return you to it." The remnants shrieked as the Harbinger emerged from the rift. Final confrontation. The Harbinger towered over Azrael, its body glowing with hellfire. "You are weak, Death," it hissed. "Mortals cling to life. They fear you. They hate you." Azrael's expression remained calm. "I am not here to be loved. I am here to uphold what must be." He summoned his scythe, a blade of shimmering twilight, forged from the boundary between worlds. It appeared in his hands with a metallic whisper that silenced the battlefield. The Harbinger roared and swung a massive claw of shadow. Azrael parried effortlessly, the clash of divine steel against darkness creating a thunderous shockwave. Angels shielded their eyes. The Harbinger struck again and again, each blow shaking the desert. Azrael deflected each one. Then he whispered, "Your time ends now." He vanished, reappeared above the Harbinger, brought the scythe down in a single crescent arc of silver fire. The Harbinger screamed as its body split in two, shadow spilling out like liquid night. But it reformed instantly. "We cannot die!" it shrieked. "Then you will be sealed," Azrael answered. The sacrifice. Azrael stabbed his scythe into the sand. A massive gray sigil erupted beneath him, ancient, forbidden, celestial. Michael recognized it instantly. "No, Azrael, you can't. That seal will trap you with them." Azrael didn't turn. "I am death. If the abyss rises, nothing else will remain to stop it." Gabriel shouted desperately, "There must be another way." Azrael shook his head. "This is the way." The sigil expanded, chains of light shooting out, wrapping around every remnant. They shrieked violently as they were dragged toward the closing rift. The Harbinger roared, resisting with every fragment of its essence. Azrael stepped toward the rift. Michael grabbed his arm. "Don't do this!" Azrael finally looked at him, calm, sad, resolute. "Michael, every life ends, even mine." He gave a faint smile. but judgment endures. He pulled away, spread his wings, and stepped into the abyss. The rift slammed shut, the desert went silent, and the remnants were sealed once more. The aftermath. The angels stood in stunned silence. Michael sank to his knees, gripping the sand where Azrael once stood. Gabriel bowed his head, whispering, "May his path be remembered." Raphael closed his eyes, tears glistening. The winds stilled, the sky cleared, but a faint gray feather drifted down from the heavens,
so others may rest.
landing softly in the palm of a young Hebrew shepherd who had witnessed the battle from afar. He whispered, "The angel of death still watches us." Epilogue. The silent return, centuries later. A traveler collapsed in a lonely desert. As he lay dying, a gentle cold touched his skin. He opened his eyes weakly and saw a figure standing beside him, storm-gray
not.
wings, golden ember eyes,
time has
a
come,
voice soft as
and
nightfall.
I will guide you.
"Fear not," Azrael whispered. "I have walked the abyss and returned." The traveler exhaled peacefully, his soul taken with love, not fear. Azrael looked toward the horizon. Darkness would rise again, but so would he. For death was not an ending, only a path he walked so others wouldn't have to walk it alone.